the social media platforms. You said a second ago that you have repeatedly reported drug dealers and other illicit posts on social media platforms using the platform's own reporting rules. And I think what you said is that most of the time, the vast majority of the time, the answer you get back is, well, this is a valid account or they otherwise can't do anything. Did I hear that correctly, Ms. Norrie?
That is correct, Senator Hawley.
So here you're trying to follow the rules that these companies have set up. They say, oh, well, we'll deal with the problem if you just report it. You and other parents, and I see parents behind you who are nodding, you're out there reporting. They're not doing anything. And I noticed that you also, I've read your written testimony, you had a meeting with Snapchat executives. I think you were there for that too, Mr. Porter, in the spring of 2021.
That's correct.
And they told you, just walk us through that, Ms. Norrie, if you would. You reported to them what was going on their own platform, and they told you what exactly?
The first three things out of their mouth was, we had no idea this was happening on our platform. You can't sue us because we're protected under Section 230. And as parents, you should have been monitoring your children.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a powerful speech by Senator Josh Hawley, who's taking a strong stand against social media companies and their role in harming children. If you're a parent or a concerned citizen, you need to hear this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. Let's jump right in. Senator Hawley highlighted a heartbreaking crisis in Missouri. Child fatalities from fentanyl doubled in 2022, and deaths for kids under 5 skyrocketed by more than 500%. It's now the leading cause of death in Missouri. These numbers represent real families suffering unimaginable losses. Hawley emphasized that it's time for urgent action. One shocking point was how social media platforms like Snapchat have become hubs for drug trafficking. Parents shared stories of their children being exposed to illegal drugs through these platforms. Even more disturbing, these parents reported the drug dealers using the platform's own reporting system, but were told no action could be taken. Parents trying to do the right thing, only to hit a wall with these tech giants. Now this part will make your blood boil. In a 2021 meeting with Snapchat executives, parents confronted them about these issues. And what was Snapchat's response? First, they claimed they had no idea this was happening. Second, they told parents they couldn't be sued because they were protected under Section 230. And third, they blamed the parents for not monitoring their kids better. Seriously? One mother pointed out that her son was 19 years old when he died. How do you monitor an adult? And even for younger kids, Snapchat's whole appeal is that messages disappear. If this infuriates you, make sure to hit that like button and drop a comment below. Parents also revealed how drug dealers are laughing at Snapchat's security measures. Even when accounts get banned, these dealers simply buy burner phones and set up new ones. Senator Hawley drove home the point social media companies have no real incentive to change. They're protected by legal shields and keep making billions, even as children are harmed. That's why Hawley is calling for a game-changing solution. Give parents the right to sue these companies. He made it clear, fines won't work. Rule changes won't work. The only way to force change is by opening the courthouse doors. If you agree, make sure to subscribe so we can keep the conversation going and hold these companies accountable. To wrap things up, Senator Hawley's message is clear. Social media companies must be held accountable. Parents deserve the right to fight for justice when these platforms contribute to harming their children. What do you think about this? Should parents be able to sue social media giants? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And again, if you found this breakdown helpful and you want to stay informed on critical issues like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share it with others who need to hear this. Thanks
Senator
for
Hawley.
watching.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Ms. Norrie, Mr. Puerta, I want to particularly thank you and thank other parents who I think are in the room today. You've highlighted the true crisis that we're facing. You know, my home state of Missouri in 2022 alone, child fatalities from fentanyl doubled just in 2022. Deaths for children under the age of 5 increased by more than 500% in my state, and fentanyl is our leading cause of death now in the state of Missouri. So the fates that your families have endured are being replicated all over my state as well. And that's really a wake-up call, I think, for this body to do something. And we absolutely do need to seal the border against those who would traffic illicit drugs into this country, and we need to prosecute those who are doing it. But I want to zero in on something that you both talked about, and you in particular, Ms. Norrie, where your own children and your child was exposed to these illegal drugs, namely Snapchat and the social media platforms. You said a second ago that you have repeatedly reported drug dealers and other illicit posts on social media platforms using the platform's own reporting rules. And I think what you said is that most of the time, the vast majority of the time, the answer you get back is, well, this is a valid account or they otherwise can't do anything. Did I hear that correctly, Ms. Norrie?
That is correct, Senator Hawley.
So here you're trying to follow the rules that these companies have set up. They say, oh, well, we'll deal with the problem if you just report it. You and other parents, and I see parents behind you who are nodding, you're out there reporting. They're not doing anything. And I noticed that you also, I've read your written testimony, you had a meeting with Snapchat executives. I think you were there for that too, Mr. Porter, in the spring of 2021.
That's correct.
And they told you, just walk us through that, Ms. Norring, if you would. You reported to them what was going on their own platform, and they told you what exactly?
The first three things out of their mouth was, we had no idea this was happening on our platform. You can't sue us because we're protected under Section 230. And as parents, you should have been monitoring your children better. My son was 19 when he died. Number one, how do you monitor an adult? Number two, how do you monitor a child on an app in which the whole allure to these kids is the fact that the messages disappear? And that was something that I brought up to their attention, and they really had no response. They don't care.
They don't care, and I think it's interesting they pointed out to you that you can't sue them. Mm-hmm. What do you think one of the reasons is that they don't really change? I mean, here you are, you're meeting with them, you're reporting these incidents, you're reporting this illicit activity on their platform. They're not doing anything about it. I mean, do you speculate, do you have a guess as to why they don't really ever change their behavior?
There's no incentive to. And even with the in-app reporting feature, that was something that they pointed out to us, like we should have known that this existed. We had no idea that existed, but I can tell you in the weeks and the months and the years after my son passed, multiple teens in our town reported the dealers that allegedly harmed my son. And all that would happen is they would take down the account. These dealers would go and get a new burner phone, set up a new account. Snapchat told us they had IP blockers and Wi-Fi blockers to recognize the devices. These dealers are buying burner phones. They're going to, I don't know, your coffee shop, your school. You're going to the library and setting up a new account. Our dealers in my community laughed at Snapchat. They're like, haha, they tried to bamboozle us. We're back, baby. Seriously.
I want to just highlight what you just said, because I think I want everybody who's watching this, and I want every member of this committee and every member of the Senate to understand what you just said, which is that the social media platforms don't change because they don't have any incentive, which is a very polite way of saying there's no hammer on these people. They do whatever they want to do because they know nobody can effectively hold them accountable. And they really let the mask slip when you two walked into their offices and told them that they had participated in the killing of your children, because that's what happened. They made money off of it effectively because they're making billions of dollars on their social media platforms. They're killing our kids. They're exposing them to all kinds of ungodly material, and they won't do anything about it because we can't hold them accountable. And I just want to say to members of this body, that has got to change. It is time to give parents the right to sue these platforms. No company in America has the liability shield that these companies have. They can do whatever they want to our kids, and we can't do anything about it. And I say that as the father of 3 young children. I'm terrified of what my kids might find on social media for the reasons that you've given today. But as a parent, I can't do a thing about it if these companies decide to exploit my children. And it is time for that to change. And we know how to change it. The way to change it is give the parents in this country the right to get into court. Open the courthouse doors and allow them to sue these companies. It's time. And until this body takes that action, I just have to say almost nothing else we do is really serious. You can try to fine them, they don't care. You can change the rules on reporting, they'll evade it. You can slap them on the wrist, they won't do anything. Until plaintiffs can get into court, nothing will change. And so I will introduce legislation, this Congress, to allow parents, to allow you to go to court and sue these companies. And I call on every member of this committee and every member of this body to support this effort to get justice for your children. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Madam Chair.